Did you know that home prices in Middlesex County can be over $200,000 different depending on the town? In this February 2026 market update, we're breaking down the numbers between Middletown area and the Shoreline towns so you know exactly what's happening in the market right now and what's in store for this spring 2026. Housing market update for Middlesex County. And today we're going to break down what's really happening in the market. How quickly homes are selling and what inventory looks like. But we're also going to compare two parts of the county that behave very differently, the Middletown area versus the Shoreline. And the difference in prices between these markets might surprise you, so let's dive in. First, let's look at the market for Middletown, Cromwell, and Durham. In February, the median home price in this group of towns was $351,000. That is actually up 9.3% compared to last year, which shows that prices in this part of the county are still climbing. However, the number of homes sold did drop slightly. There were 41 total sales in February, which is about 18% fewer than last year. Again, this is something we are seeing in many markets right now. And the main reason is limited inventory, not necessarily a lack of buyers. The average price in these towns was about $375,000 and homes sold for $239 per square foot. That makes the central part of Middlesex County one of the more affordable areas in the region. For buyers who want access to Hartford, New Haven, or commuting routes like Route 9 or I-91, these towns are often where people start their home search. Homes in Middletown, Durham, and Cromwell took about 29 days to sell on average. So most homes are still selling in about 3 to 4 weeks, which is still relatively quick. The buyers are still paying slightly above asking price on average, showing there is still strong demand in the market. One of the most important numbers to watch is inventory. Right now, there are about 44 active homes on the market, which equals just 1.07 months of supply. So to put that in perspective, a balanced market usually has 4 to 6 months of supply. So with just about 1 month of inventory, this is still a very strong seller's market in these towns. So jumping to the Shoreline towns, because this market is very different. And I'm going to include Old Saybrook, Clinton, and Westbrook. And these towns attract buyers looking for coastal living. In February, the median sale price in the market was $400,000. However, the average sale price was much higher at $585,000, which shows that many homes are selling higher in these price ranges. And this is where the big difference appears. When we compare the two markets, so let's say central Middlesex County and the median price being $351,000, or the Shoreline, which is typically median closer to $545,000. So homes along the Shoreline are often $150,000 to $200,000 more expensive on average. That price difference is driven by mainly three things: proximity to the water, vacation homes and second homes, and limited land for new construction. In February, there were 19 total home sales along the Shoreline, which was actually 12% higher than last year. So even though prices are higher, the Shoreline market still attracts a lot of buyers. And these buyers are coming from other areas, so let's say New York or Boston, other parts of Connecticut, and they're looking for weekend homes or retirement homes near the water. Homes along the Shoreline sold even faster than inland towns. The median days on the market was just 18. That means that homes are selling in under 3 weeks, and that speed shows that there is still strong demand for coastal properties. Inventory is a little higher along the Shoreline. There are currently about 48 active homes available, and that equals about 2.5 months of supply. That is still technically a seller's market, but is slightly more balanced than the inland towns. Now, why are the markets so different? One of the biggest reasons we see such a big difference between these two markets is going to be lifestyle. The Shoreline towns like Old Saybrook, Clinton, Westbrook, they attract a lot of buyers who are looking for something very specific, which is going to be coastal living. Most of these buyers are coming from outside of Middlesex County. Some are moving from other parts of Connecticut, but many are coming from New York, Massachusetts, and even farther away. and they're looking for other things such as a second home. These buyers are often looking for second homes. They're going to be looking for retirement homes. They're looking for waterfront or beach communities. And because there is limited land along the shoreline, prices tend to stay higher. On the other hand, towns like Middletown, Durham, Cromwell, they tend to attract buyers looking for primary homes and commuting access. These towns give buyers easy access to Hartford, New Haven, and major highways like I-91 and Route 9, which is why they're often more affordable but still very desirable. So what does all of this mean for buyers? If you are a buyer right now, the biggest challenge across the entire county is still limited inventory. Homes under $400,000 tend to move the fastest. And along the shoreline, waterfront or beach area homes can still attract multiple offers. So being prepared and working with a local agent can make a big difference. Now, what does this mean for sellers? Well, for sellers, the news is still very good. Inventory is low in both markets, and homes are still selling relatively quickly. However, the market is not as aggressive as it was during the peak years. That means pricing your home correctly is more important than ever. Homes priced well tend to sell quickly, while overpriced homes may sit longer and require price reductions. So what should we expect as we head into the spring market here in Connecticut? Many real estate agents across the state are actually expecting a strong spring season, especially as more sellers start putting their homes on the market. One of the biggest challenges we've seen recently has been that low inventory, but agents are already starting to see more homes hitting the market as we move closer to the spring. Buyer demand is still very strong, and that demand has really been helping support home prices even when the number of sales slows down a bit. Another trend agents are noticing is that sellers are becoming a little more flexible with negotiations, which could create more opportunities for buyers this year. So as we move into the next few months, we'll likely see more listings, more buyer activity, and a much busier market overall compared to the winter months. So overall, the Middlesex County real estate market in February of 26 was still very strong, but it depends on where you were looking. The Middletown area offered more affordability, while the shoreline towns continued to command higher prices because of coastal demand. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or moving to Middlesex County, I would be happy to help. And if you want to stay on top, up to date on the local real estate market, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next update. I'm Devin with Dave Jones Realty, where we do everything but the packing.